excited to be here. I'm working for you. I came here to tell you I am working for you. Our whole team, we got the most talented team to turn around a state government anywhere in America, and we're working for you. We're working for every family in our great state. We are going to restore the pride and the prosperity in the great state of Illinois. This is the year we're going to turn it around. And I'm here to tell you about the vision we have to get it turned around and to ask for your help, because we need the legislature to take some tough votes. We've got great folks there like Keith Wheeler, but we've got some folks who are going to be a little more reluctant to take some of the tough votes. Keith's going to take them. He's going to do the right thing for you and the taxpayer. Folks are going to be a little scared to take the tough votes. You know, the special interest groups that control Springfield, they've got a lot of money. They've got your money. They make their money from government. They like big government, and they don't like any change. They like the status quo. Well, we've got to take the power away from them. We've got to take the power away from that corrupt politician connection to the insiders and get you the power. The voters of Illinois deserve to have the power. We need the power back in your hands. That's what we're going to do. I need you this year. I need you this spring, because we've got to take some tough votes. We can't wait to turn our state around. We can't wait 2, 3, 4 years. We've got to do it right now, the next 4 months. So I need you. I need you to write some letters, make some phone calls. Maybe come on down to Springfield. You know, I'm living there now. It's an honor to be there. No governor's done that in quite a while. I got to fix something. You can come on down, visit me in the governor's residence. The front door doesn't work, the roof leaks, the basement floods, the elevator's broken. But you know what? Come there anyway and come visit me. Because you know what? That's the seat of government. Come on down and come over to the Capitol with me and come and sit with the legislators. Go knock on Speaker Madigan's door and say that you're a constituent of the state of Illinois and you care about your taxes. Come knock on the door of President Culleton. Tell him you pay taxes, you care about the schools in Illinois, you want change, and you want to control your own future and your own destiny. Come tell them, and they'll listen to you. Show up and care, and I'll deliver the results, I promise you. This is our year to turn the state around, and the whole key is empowering you. You should control your future. Springfield shouldn't tell you what to do. You should decide for yourselves what you should do. And here's the whole key. When it comes to property taxes, we have the highest property taxes in America. Us in New Jersey. We're basically tied for the highest property taxes in America. It's outrageous. There's no excuse for it. You know what? And it's not a coincidence that us in New Jersey are tied for the most people leaving. We have people leaving Illinois. We lost more population than any state in America last year. And over the last 12 years, we've lost 275,000 people who've left Illinois. They're going to other states that have more opportunity and more reasonable tax burden and better schools. They're leaving for a better future. And that's wrong, because we have the hardest working people in America here. We have the best location of any state in America here. We have the most fertile farms in America here. And right here in Illinois, we're the center of the heart of America. Companies want to be here, people want to be here, but our taxes are crushing them, our regulations are crushing them, and the American dream is dying in Illinois. We can't allow it anymore. This is the year to turn it around. So when it comes to property taxes, I want you to be able to control that. You decide if property taxes go up. You have to vote and let them go up. Otherwise, they don't go up. They're frozen unless you say it's okay they go up. And to allow you to do that, I'm going to make sure that the state puts more money in your schools, in all the schools, more general revenue from the state into your schools, so you don't have to over-rely on your local property taxes to fund your schools. You can afford, then, to freeze your property taxes. And here, beyond that, here's the key. When it comes to your county government, I've been in Kendall County a lot, and I'll be back here a lot again. In your county government, in your city governments like Yorkville, I want you to control what the costs are. You should decide what gets collectively bargained in your governments. You know what? You should decide whether employees have to join a union to work for you or not. You should decide what issues get negotiated and which you can decide for yourselves. The folks work for you in government, and they're privileged to work for you. You don't work for them. They work for you. You decide what gets negotiated. You decide what the deal is. You decide whether they have to join a union or not. If they want to join one, terrific. But they should. If you don't want them to get forced, they shouldn't get forced. You should control that issue. Local voters control it. Same thing in your schools. In your schools, if you want your teachers to have to join a union to teach for your kids, terrific. Tell them they got to join a union. If you don't want them to have to join a union, tell them they don't have to join a union. It's up to you. You should decide yourselves. You should control that. You should decide what gets collectively bargained in your schools. Exactly the same way. If you want everything collectively bargained, do that. If you only want some things collectively bargained, do that yourself. You decide for your community, your schools, your county government, your city government. Same thing in your economy. In your economy here in Illinois, we tell businesses if you got a union, everybody in that company has to join the union. You got to pay the dues. Well, a lot of states don't do that. And you know what? You should decide that for yourselves. Do you want that for your economy? Terrific. Keep it. You have what we have in Illinois. But you know what? If you don't want that, if you want to compete with Texas, if you want to compete with Tennessee, if you want to compete with Indiana, and Wisconsin, and Iowa, you decide. You decide what you want in your local economy. If here in Kendall County you want to compete with Texas, you put it in. You decide that your companies can have flexibility when it comes to employment. If you don't want to compete with Texas, fine. Do it your way, but I want you to decide. You should have the power. Springfield shouldn't be telling you what to do. They shouldn't tell you what you have to do and what you can't do. It's your life, it's your economy, it's your schools, it's your kids' future. You should control it, not Springfield and not Washington, D.C. This is you, your future. Power to the people. That's what I say. Power to the voters. Let me tell you, Sunfield is putting hundreds of unfunded mandates on your city, on your county, and on your schools. They're putting hundreds of regulations on you and making you pay for them. That's wrong. If they're going to put a regulation on you, better come from the state's going to pay for it. Otherwise, you decide. You shouldn't have to do a regulation you don't believe in and have to pay for it. You should get these unfunded mandates off of you. Same thing on this issue called prevailing wage, project labor agreements. I don't know how many of you know what's going on here, but you know what? When it comes to building a school, building a bridge or a road, government in Illinois does no competitive bidding. It requires certain wages and certain agreements with unions. You know what? If you want that, fine, keep it. But you know what? You should be allowed to get your own competitive bidding in your own schools. You should get your own competitive bidding on your own roads and your own bridges. And so if you want competitive bidding, have it. If you want the standard forced pay, have that. But you should decide. I'll tell you what's happening in Illinois. We're spending 20%, 25%, 30% or more because we don't have competitive bidding on government construction programs. And think how much more you could put into your schools if you didn't have to pay 25% more to build a classroom. Think how much better roads you could have if you didn't have to spend 25% more for every road construction project. And I want to be an infrastructure governor. I want to put billions of dollars into the roads, bridges, locks, dams, canals, airports, schools. I want the best infrastructure in America. I want to spend tens of billions of dollars. But I want value for your dollars when we spend your dollars on infrastructure. And if I want to put $10 billion into our roads and our schools, if I have to spend 25% more for everything we build, that's not value for you. And think about if we could get, that's $2.5 billion we spent we didn't have to. Think how much more we could pay our teachers. Think how much more we could put in our schools and into our social services, because I believe in a good social services safety net. If we save that $2.5 billion and put it where it belongs, rather than excessive construction costs. We've got to get you empowered. No more forced mandates. You should decide how your competitive bidding goes. You decide how much money and how you're going to get value for your tax dollars. That's the whole key. Let me tell you on these pensions. Let me tell you, we got a big fight coming on pensions. And I'm all in for firefighters, police officers. You risk your lives. You deserve a special deal. God bless you. You deserve a different deal than the standard government worker, and I'm going to protect you on that. But let me tell you something. We've got a broken pension system. We've got spiking in. We've got double dipping. We've got triple dipping. We got guys using overtime into their retirement calculation, and they're retired making way more than they made when they were working. And how many people in America, how many people in Illinois get to retire in their 50s and get their salary for life with escalators? The people of Illinois do not get that deal. And it's not fair. That's money out of our schools. That's money out of our social services safety net. And I want you to control what pensions you need to do in your county, in your school. You should decide how your pension should go. This shouldn't be dictated from the state. And what I'm advocating is that we protect the existing pensions. We don't take away any benefits that anybody's accrued. They get protected. But for future work, not past. The past is done. The past is earned. If you're retired, you got your deal, nothing changes. You protect what's done. But for future work, we have a different pension plan. Different and more affordable. Well, either a 401k or a tier 2. Something that's different and more affordable for the future. Don't take away the history. Don't take away what's earned. Don't reduce anybody's deal that they had. but for the future have a different deal, a second deal. So when somebody retires, they get the old deal and they get the new deal. They got two pensions. That's fair, it's affordable, and when I explain it to teachers, when I explain it to workers, they go, okay, that's not what they said before. And I said, I've been saying this for years. The spin is that I'm trying to take away everybody's pension. No. The spin is I'm trying to blow up. No, I want to protect it, what's there, but I want a more affordable plan for future work. That's fair, and that's the right thing to do. Now here's the big deal. We've got corruption and conflict of interest rampant in our government. Did you know that the trial lawyers basically can give unlimited campaign cash when the judges are elected? And these are the trial lawyers who argue the cases right in front of those same judges. We have the most lawsuit abuse in America because the judges have been bought off by the trial lawyers. That's wrong, that's corrupt, and you pay higher costs as a result. Same thing in Medicaid. I believe we should have a good Medicaid program. We deserve to have our families who don't have the resources to get health care and have some insurance. I believe we need that. But in Illinois, the health care providers that contract with Medicaid, they can give unlimited campaign cash to the politicians that manage our Medicaid program. Conflict of interest. We got rampant spending, rampant corruption, conflict in our Medicaid program. That's a conflict of interest. And here's the biggest one of all that's costing us billions of dollars. A government union leader can sit across the table from a politician and say, look, we'll get you elected. We'll give you $5 million for your campaign out of our union dues, which are taxpayer funded. I'll give you 5,000 of my members to work for your campaign, we'll distribute your literature for you. These are people who work for the government, work for the taxpayers. We'll work on your campaign, and then when you're in office, then we'll negotiate what our pension is and our work rules here and our health care. I'm sorry, that's a conflict. If that happened in business, somebody go to jail. Somebody go to jail. But in government, it's like, oh well, no more. That's wrong. And people say, well, Bruce, you're being mean. You're trying to take the voting rights or the free speech for workers. No, I'm not. You know, it's illegal in Illinois for a business that contracts with the state to make a campaign contribution to a state politician. It's illegal. Same thing for an individual, it's illegal. But why is an individual is illegal or in business, but for a government union leader or a Medicaid provider, it's perfectly fine? Conflict of interest. We've got to get that out of the system and make the system run for you. We're going to get you back in charge. When you're in charge of your future, we get good government and democracy is restored. And the government is run for your benefit. That's the way the government should exist to work for you. You don't work for the government. That's not the government's money, that's your money. And you should control how it gets spent. You should control the structure of how your taxes get used. We got to bring the power back to you. So help us. Get the message out. When you're talking to the school board meeting, when you're going to the Rotary Club meeting, get the word out. Local control, empower the voters to control your future. Everybody likes that. Republicans like it, Democrats like it, everybody wants it. Local control, power to the voters. You control what happens in your government. You control what happens in your schools. You control what happens in your economy. You deserve to control it. Not the politicians in Springfield or in Washington, D.C. You. If you're empowered, we're going to kick tails. I tell you what, Kendall County gets less regulation when you control it. I'm going to Indiana. I'm bringing jobs to Kendall County. I'm going to Wisconsin, and I'm bringing the jobs down from Wisconsin. I'm going over to Iowa. And you know what? People, so my predecessor used to complain. He said, oh, Rick Perry from Texas, oh, he's being mean. He shouldn't come from Texas and take our jobs. You know what I say? Rick Perry and his new replacement, Abbott, I think his name is, you can do that for about 6 more months. But you know what? We're going to fix this system. And we're going to Texas. We're taking the companies back. We're going to Texas. So listen, this is our time. You know what? Illinois is a great place. It's a great place. We have the best families in America. We used to be one of the proud states that made America great. And you know what? We're going to those days again. We are going to be the greatest state and the greatest nation on earth. Let's restore the pride and prosperity of our homes. Let's work together. Power back to the voters. Let's turn this state around. God bless you.